Hello, today's video is all about modified right angle weave. And first I'm showing you a normal strip here in right angle weave, which is a little bit not practical when you want to use it as a chain because it has all these gaps on the outline. So a nice continuous row would be fine. So what can you do? We can just weave along the outline of our right angle weave strip and add some beads in between to fill the gaps, right? So let's see how this works. I'm using size 8 beads here for my right angle weave strip, so I'm using the same size of beads along the outline in the first place, just to show you how these things are looking. So I'm doing this all the way to the end. Now here you see, these beads are a little bit shorter than the gaps, so my strip is also going to be a little bit shorter at the end. So I'm adding the same beads to the other edge so that the strip is straight again or not curved. But you see the problem already when I do it like this, the whole thing is too sturdy and too stiff, so it's not really draping nicely for a strip. So maybe I picked the wrong size of beads. So let's try the same again with size 11 beads in between, with pairs of size 11 beads. And you see here, it's the same. Here the beads are a little bit bigger than the gap is, but still we have this kind of edgy thing when it is about the drape of this strip. So here the modified right angle weave comes into the picture. Of course, I was using size 11 beads here only. That's a little bit unfair maybe to compare, but you can make the stitch with the same, with all size 11 beads and compare the both versions, and you will love the modified right angle weave version. So we first start with a right angle weave unit as usual. So I string my 4 right angle weave beads here, and I'm exiting from 1 bead here. On the side going up. Now I string 1 bead to fill the gap, 3 right angle weave beads, the pink ones, and again 1 filling bead. These are the golden ones. So now I'm skipping, so the filling bead, 3 right angle weave beads, and the filling bead. Now I'm skipping the bead in the middle and I pass down to the bead on the other side. I'm crossing over through the bead in the middle to my starting edge. And here I weave up through the top 3 beads. That's the entire stitch that we're doing. I will repeat this on and on, but just so you can see, it's a very simple stitch. Now, you see here my pink beads in the top circle, they are not connected yet. So not connected like in a right angle weave unit. Now I'm just stringing my beads for the next unit. I'm going down on the other side. I'm crossing through the center. And then I'm weaving up through the golden pink bead here on my starting edge. And with this step, so with my next unit, I'm joining the beads of the previous right angle weave unit. You see now they are snuggling up, and the beads of the previous unit, and you have the typical look of a right angle weave unit. Again, I'm stringing the 5 beads, filler bead, 3 right angle weave beads, filler bead. I pass down through 1 bead on the other edge. I'm crossing through the center to my starting side again, and I'm weaving up through the 3 beads here on the top. Always make sure that this little thread, it loves to go around this filling bead, but it has to ignore the filling bead when you're weaving around there. So you're only passing through the pink beads there when you go to the other side. Again, you see, I'm weaving only through the pink beads here at the bottom to join my right angle weave unit. Now, why is it called modified right angle weave and not right angle weave? You see, going from one unit to the other with using this filling bead, we're not weaving around in the right angle. So from unit to unit, we're going straight forward. So it's a modified version of right angle weave. It's not really classical right angle weave. Although, at the end, all your beads in the right angle weave grid are joined in the way as right angle weave would do. Now, there's one thing that you have to pay attention to, as I told you already. The beads of the actual unit will always be joined by the next unit that we're making. So when I come to the end of my strip, I have to weave once through the 4 beads of my very last right angle weave unit. These are the 4 pink beads here. I have to join them. If I don't join them, you will have a very loose end here, and the structure is not stable. So always remember, when you come to the end of the row, you have to reinforce the right angle wave unit. Here you see, although it's the big size 8 beads here, the whole thing looks nicer when you bend it. It's more flexible than the other strip. And if you could hold it in your hands, you would see that the modified right angle weave strip is really hanging down, and the other one is more stiff. So it's really the nicer drape that you have. Now, let's have a closer look here at the right angle weave strip that I was just filling the beads. And you see here, when you look in between, at some points you see the thread in between. You don't see the thread in the modified right angle weave strip. It just looks nicer and neater. Now, we can add a second row to our first row of modified right angle weave. And this just works in the same way. I start with my right angle weave unit that I start, of course, from the side bead of the previous row, from my pink bead here, and I just go a second time around. I don't do that usually, but here with the size 8 beads, it's all just a little bit bigger. Then I weave forward along the edge of the previous row, and I exit from that next pink bead. Now, I already have the first 2 beads of my group that I have to string, so I'm just stringing 2 more pink beads, 1 golden bead, and then I pass down on the other side. This is up now because I'm weaving the way down, but you know what I mean. And then I weave forward along the beads of my actual edge, and I'm exiting from the next free pink bead here. So string 2 pink beads, 1 golden bead, pass here up through the bead on the other side, the pink bead on the other side. Then you cross to the left through the bead in the center, and then you weave through the pink, golden, pink bead, which is part of the unit that you already had. And then afterwards, you will weave forward 2 more positions, go straight, and exit from the next pink bead. And this way, it's going on up to the end of the row. Just to see the difference, I recommend always have a look at your own beads. Try it with your own beads. If you make a strip, 2 rows of right angle weave, and if you try to add the same size of beads, no matter whether it's size 8 or 11 or whatever, to add the same size of beads in the grid in between, it will not fit as nicely and neatly as it looks here. It's just a difference. You will see it. It's always better to see these things in real life, that you really give it a try and to look and touch and feel the difference how it's looking. Now, also here we come to the end of the row. And of course, as I told you before, at the end of this row, you have to reinforce the 4 beads of the very last right angle weave unit. That's valid for all Emerald strips. Now, this is just the basic video for the basic stitch that I'm showing you here. I will make more videos about Emerald stitch and also about the other things, variations that you can do and so on. I try to keep these videos short so that you can have a quick look just to inform yourself about a certain stitch, and that you don't have to watch all kind of stuff that's not interesting you in that moment. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time. Bye-bye.